going first. So I am prepared. Hang on just a second, give me a moment. As I say, I'm using an unfamiliar machine tonight. So anyway, I've got three. My first one I'm hoping to read out tomorrow at the Croydon Library poetry session. The theme that they've given is celebrity. Now, being a big fan of the Beatles, I wrote a poem about John Lennon. So I'll test it out here, and if you don't like it, I'm going to be stuck tomorrow. So anyway, I called it We Love You, John. John, you were an icon, never doing things by the book, never playing the game. We loved you for all of that. Bucking the trend, going against the establishment. Someone who wasn't afraid of taking the bull by the horns in the name of peace. Bed-ins, handing back your MBE, songs written to reflect your feelings. Politicians hated it, but we loved you for all of it. Woke us all up. You showed us the sham behind the facade. Your unwillingness to conform made protesters of us too. Then you were shot dead by a madman, just as you were emerging again after a period of absence. The world went crazy with grief. The perpetrator locked up for life. Only the good die young, they say. You had so much more to offer us. Definitely not ready to leave us. We will never let you go. Elevated to icon status, we still love you, John. Okay, so I hope that sounded all right. Thank you very much. My second one is out of one of the Croydon Poetry Library anthologies, when the theme was hope, and this was my contribution. Hope can mean many things. I hope everything will be all right. I hope you get well soon. I hope you find love and peace. Hope for me means likelihood, something positive to hold on to in times of trouble. It doesn't matter if it's a little or a lot, any vestige of hope worth so much. Believe anything is possible in a moment of hope. Holding on, praying it will come true. Hope gives life a chance. Hope gives ambition, the desire to succeed in a difficult world. Hope bestows confidence. Hope bestows faith and trust. Hope, even a girl's name. A short word, much depends on it. Hope, a goal to strive for, something you wish to hear. Okay. And my last one is not mine. It's a poem I picked out of the Simon Armitage Blossom Eyes book that I bought recently, and it's one I picked up. And it's I picked this one out because when I was a teenager, I used to fancy the pants off James Hunt, the racing driver. And I always had a crush on him at the time, and this is kind of connected to him, so I picked this one as my third one. For argument's sake, oh sorry, it's called Fluffy Dice, I do beg your pardon, Fluffy Dice, and it's by Simon Armitage. For argument's sake, let's say it was 77 or 78 when the town's wannabe James Hunt pulled a handbrake turn on the cinder track near Tunnel End, wound down the window of his flame-red, reconditioned Ford Capri, and spat a saliva-coated cherry stone from his crimson mouth into my bloodless face. That being the case, let's reflect how the tiniest pip, stewing in a gunk of churned up earth and warm spit, might find its feet. So much so that 40 years on, when Hunt the Shunt slams into the trunk of a fully grown tree, bringing his tricked out, pimped up cabriolet to a dead stop, the tree is unmoved, except for a scattered handful of blush pink petals that drift and settle amongst the compost of windscreen glass and broken mirrors and crumpled metal, out of which an idea takes root, flush with blossom, heavy with ripe fruit. Thank you.
Wow. Did you cherry pick that one?
Thank you very much, George.
I don't want to be a pain, but I see we've Heather's joined us and Sunana's joined us. So would you mind reading the Imagine, the John Lennon poem again? Would that
What now?
Yes, please, if you would.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure. I can't see Heather on my screen, but I'm sure she's here somewhere.
Heather's here. I can see Heather.
Right. Okay.
Heather's
Well,
waving.
I can't. But anyway, this is for Heather. We love you, John. This is self-written.
And for Sunana as well. She's joined us as well. So from
Right.
the stage.
Okay. Well, I can't see her either. So
No.
Okay. John, you were an icon. Never doing things by the book. Never playing the game. We loved you for all of that. Bucking the trend, going against the establishment. Someone who wasn't afraid of taking the bull by the horns in the name of peace. Bed-ins, handing back your MBE. Songs written to reflect your feelings. Politicians hated it, but we loved you for all of it. Woke us all up. You showed us the sham behind the facade. Your unwillingness to conform. Made protesters of us too. Then you were shot dead by a madman. Were emerging again after a period of absence. The world went crazy with grief. The perpetrator locked up for life. Only the good die young, they say. You had so much more to offer us. Definitely not ready to leave us. We will never let you go. Elevated to icon status. We still love you, John. Okay. Thank you.
Very good. I think you'll be fine for poetry in the library or poetry on Zoom.
Thank you, George.
Nice.
Thank you, George. Thank you.
Okay. Well, welcome, Sunana, and welcome to Heather. We've only just started, so you had the full Monty so far. So, Nick, do you want to read now, please?
Yep.
Thank you.
So I will start with a poem called Silkworms by Tristram Fane Saunders. Sounds pretty posh. I don't know Tristram, but he's organising an event at Crystal Palace Bowl in a couple of weeks. So this is Silkworms. At 28, I have more pets than friends, and do not give them names. I cut them off, or try to, when they're too glued to the web, unspooling from whichever of their ends has means. Their faceless faces look appalled. A silk pall, peppercorned with tiny leavings, or starched Elizabethan collar stitched with fine black pearls against the velvet blebs of thick green putty, mulberry chow. It's all domestic silkworms live on now. Full of themselves, underground, white and full, fed up inside their homespun terminals. At the end of the line, survivors hear a strange, insistent, tinny voice. All change, all change. I meant to write to you. I'd like to call. As we grow older, we forget to talk. Mermaid-like, the flightless adult moths, too busy to buy its heavy legs, has sold its mouth. Those miracle white angel wings are props. They must pick up beds they are and walk. This is called Limbo Life. One of mine. Limbo life in coffee shops, chatting about irrelevance, cholesterol, blood test results. I always have ice in it. That's what I said to Kevin. He said I should get out more. The chatty woman's holding court. Her arms folded friend has heard it all before. The loud man wants a cappuccino, but first, could you tell him the price? The little girl's too young for coffee. For her, the chair back is a climbing frame. This afternoon, it's a funeral service. I'm sitting here for what? The company? And typing stolen words into my phone. He came and cut the grass last week. Christina was 40 in February. I don't know who Christina is. I probably tuned out again. And since we had James Hunt, this is quite appropriate, I suppose. It's Sonnet number 108, the Grand Prix. This is a strange race we are running. We all set off at different times, jockey for position, compete like hell, maybe catch a slipstream for a while, but none of us know where it's going. I've seen so many go spinning off. Others just seem to run out of fuel. Some say that it's a circuit, but even after a pit stop, refueled, new tyres, I've never seen anyone come round again. The Dalai Lama says he's on his 14th lap. He might be right, but even so, each time he got a new car and had to relearn the controls. So that's my 3.
Right. Well, I'm quite happy to hang around to do a part 2. Not everyone can, I don't suppose, very often, but Sue normally
No,
Sue normally likes to read in the first half.
one act show. Yeah.
Yeah, very good it is too. Well, thank you.
What an act, though.
That was good. That Tristram's a very good poet, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, yes. About the silkworms, very good.
Yeah, I like the surprised faces.
Absolutely, yeah. He's very talented. So he's performing, is he, at Crystal Palace? You say?
Yeah.
Right. Whereabouts?
Yeah, he's friends with people like Abigail Parry, and she's really good.
Oh, right.
So yeah, I think it's quite good too.
So
they do this magazine called Gravy.
Very good.
It's mixed, but some of it's very good.
Well, that was a good poem. Not to despise yours either, Nick. Of course, yours is very good.
Right. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, it's up there. It's up there. Sue, okay.
Right, I've got 3, if that's okay. Leaf. How can I tell you without words, or write of things through silence, or send you rain's soft hush, moon's quiet conspiracy, vast morning light on summer water, petals opening to sunrise, wings unfolding like a fan, song-beaked blackbirds, speckled thrushes, fresh young birch trees, untouched stars. For all I have is this golden yellow ginkgo leaf, veined and blotched and autumn dry, slightly torn and papery. Maybe I'll post it to you. Maybe you will understand. Okay. After the journey. The world aches, not the beginning, but perhaps the end. And I wish I believed in something now. I've walked the mountain paths, past ancient olive trees where sheep graze timelessly, climbed steps to temples, wisps of incense rising from a sand-filled bowl, watched curious whales, white spumes of exhalation, seen flying fish break from a hopeful sea. Then I was hopeful too. I loved, was loved, held precious children to my breast, said farewell in time to my dead father, mother, searched and searched the world for meaning, consulted oracles to ask my question, not understanding the reply. All that setting out on bright blue mornings to find myself at last right here. The only journey is the one within. Thank you. And this is a new book next year, which is coming out in May and no, March, I think. And this is from it. I may have read may have read a bit of it before, but anyway, it's called Of Autumn. No longer subject to the pull of ocean tides, I do not navigate by stars and moon. I float without a compass on a calmer sea, taste my own salt. No longer ploughed or harvested or grazed, I stretch out, fallow-boned beneath the tacit sky, watch ribs of trees vault high above my head and talk with birds. I am a dry husk, paper thin, bright seeds all blown away, a ghost who blind walks round familiar rooms and haunts the back streets, shortcuts, secret views, forgets their names. You were the mown path through my thistle field, your green grass sweet with summer's felled remains, but autumn has a different taste, celeriac and mud. I watch for rain. Thank you.
Brilliant.
Beautiful.
Thanks very much.
Yeah, I agree with you,
That's
Nick.
going to be a very successful book. That's a
Yeah.
quality.
Well, some of it's rubbish, actually. Some of it's
Well, not judging by those
You
two,
know.
it's not.
They tell us that. We're all going to buy it anyway.
Of course you are, you must.
That was absolutely beautiful. That was beautiful.
It
But the
was.
last one, yeah, thank you.
Leaf is
Yeah.
stunning. The first one, Leaf, I just absolutely
Yeah, I
love.
do.
I love them all.
I've written and rewritten, you know how you do, I've written, I'm still not quite happy with it, but anyway, thank you
Well,
for listening.
I think it's perfect. I just love that Leaf poem. It's so beautiful. I love them all, but that one.
I did actually send a friend of mine a leaf, just for fun. It wasn't, it was just for fun in a Christmas card because I didn't have anything to send. And I just put it in, and I thought, oh, that'll make a good poem.
Yeah, well, the ginkgo's got the ginkgo tree has a lovely leaf.
Yeah, they're lovely, aren't they? Like little fans. Yes.
It's-
right.
It's also one of the most
Sometimes I
ancient
write-
trees.
Yeah. Sometimes I write the weird poem first and then I do the weird thing that I said.
Okay, well, I did it.
That's a lot.
I'm glad that's why it's lovely to be in the company of poets, because they do understand how weird this works. It's great.
It's
Thank
a
you very
beautiful
much.
poem. Thank you.
Thank-
Well, Jim, I'm sorry. I'm afraid you have to follow that if you can. I'm sure you can.
Yeah, I was saying to George, I actually write song lyrics. I've had one song lyrics only, and had some of those actually in the United Kingdom songwriting competition. Got through to the finals, but not the last three. The point is, I can't sing. I can't no sense of pitch. I can't do pitch. So I just have to intone and try and get the rhythm and all that sort of thing. The first poem, I've actually been doing this in pubs as well. It's gone okay because it's easier actually to do it in pubs than actually is in this kind of situation. Right, the first one is it's a country and western kind of song. It's called Watching Some Old Movie. I wish I was as happy now as I once used to be. You and me in a darkened room, watching some old movie. Woman's voice now. You and me in a darkened room, watching some old movie. You clapped to see some cowboys ride across a swollen river. The world was always black and white when we were still together. The world was always black and white when we were still together. I thought our love would never die, for love should last forever. That you went on your separate way and crossed that swollen river. That I went on my separate way and crossed that swollen river. Oh, I went on my separate way and crossed that swollen river. And as the years went rolling by, I thought you'd phone or write. And I often dreamt I saw your face in the small hours of the night. And I often dreamt I saw your face in the small hours of the night. When you lay on that hospice bed, you couldn't even raise your head. We talked about the times we'd had, the good, the average and the bad. Oh, 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 oh. When I lay on that hospice bed, I couldn't even raise my head. We talked about the times we'd had, the good, the average and the bad. Oh, 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 oh. This life is like a passing dream, but memories last forever. So we still see those cowboys ride across that swollen river. We still see those cowboys ride across that swollen river. Yes, we still see those cowboys ride across that swollen river. I wish I was as happy now as I once used to be. You and me in a darkened room, watching some old movie. You and me in a darkened room, watching some old movie. You and me in a darkened room. You and me in a darkened room. You and me in a darkened room. That's the first one. The second one is it's a kind of more a psychopath kind of song, and the singer is not a dangerous sort of person. Anyhow, it's called Beating Hearts. She was a singer in a local band. She had charisma, people eating out of her hand. She said she liked my sense of humor and would I like to be her man. Would I like to be her? Would I like to be her? Would I like to be her man? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Would I like to be her man? But there were problems. I saw her from the very start. She fed my habit. I said that we would never part, and she would always lie beside me. She would always lie beside me, and she listened to my beating heart. Listen to my beating, listen to my beating, listen to my beating heart. Yeah, 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 listen to my beating heart. But then she dropped me like a stone in a well. It was outrageous. She made my life a living hell. One night I lost my sense of humor. One night I lost my sense of humor. Ended up inside a prison cell. Up inside a prison, up inside a prison, up inside a prison cell. Yeah, 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 up inside a prison cell. Now I'm with jokers in a world where there are only men. They think I'm funny, a funny man with funny tales to tell. They say one day I'll meet my angel and I will make a laugh in hell. I will make a laugh, I will make a laugh, I will make a laugh in hell. Yeah, 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 I will make a laugh in hell. She's still my angel. I see her shining like a star. She looks amazing. I said that we would never part. Now she will always lie beside me. She will always lie beside me. As she listens to my beating heart. Listens to my beating, listens to my beating, listens to my beating heart. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Listens to my beating, listens to my beating, listens to my beating heart. That's it. Right. Anyway, thanks for hearing me out.
Jim, you make me proud. Us octogenarians, we've got to stick together. It's wonderful. Very good.
Yeah, it's all right for an 81-year-old who's tone deaf.
Yeah,
Well, more
good.
or less.
Yes. No, it's
Yeah,
good.
you have to kind of fake it, you know, just whatever.
Yeah. Well, the Swollen River song, I could almost imagine if someone like Graham Parsons and Tammy Wynette got together on that, it would be amazing. It's got the essence of a good song, you know, that could come across really well with music, couldn't it?
I think so, but I've got to I've got to do quite a lot of work before that I can actually get it in. It's a funny, like if you don't have a sense of pitch, you're actually at a loss.
That's true. That's true.
You know, all musicians have a sense of pitch, and this, that, and the other, and I don't. So I've got to sort of do a lot of work on that before I can even think about whatever.
But I think you being a good poet helps, though, because I think poetry and music.
Yeah, I mean they are from poets. They're from poems. I take poems and I actually make them into the songs, not the other way around.
You do sing better than Graham Parsons.
Yeah, well,
he
it
did
must be
die
pretty
in
bad then.
He died, did he?
Yeah, right. So.
Oh, not
I'm
funny,
still
really.
alive.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah. Anyhow, thanks a lot, guys.
Yes, really enjoyed that. Thanks.
Yeah, I'm skiving off towards the end of the, about 9 o'clock. I'll be skiving.
Okay. Yeah, you mentioned that to me earlier on.
Yeah.
Several people will have to. I mean, I know Sue does as well. She goes over.
Yeah.
We've still got half an hour to go. So
yeah, well, thanks a lot for actually hearing me out. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Yes, enjoyed it. I think everyone did. You got lots of positive looks on the screens here. So there you go.
Right. hopefully, can you actually, you know, like I try and get you to sort of like, how do I get to see it?
You want to listen to it? Peter's recording it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So I contact Peter and see if he'll send me the
No. All you need to do is to go into.
Oh, I can send you the link.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah.
You send me
When
the
it's
link.
uploaded, I'll send you the link. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Right. Cheers. Thanks a lot, Peter.
Yeah. Okay. It's YouTube, and you just type in Poets Anonymous, but there's so many entries there, it's hard to find us sometimes. But you can always listen to back episodes of pieces recorded on there, if you're patient. Heather, are you ready to go?
Okay, I have two of my own here.
Right.
Yeah, you've got the first one. It's called The Maestro.
Mhm.
The greatest of teachers does dwell within, and goes by the name of sickness and sin. It tutors us well, but light follows night. Though mills yet sing their memory of blight, it gives us the fears, the woes, and the grim, then reclines itself back, knowing we'll win. It reminds us well the fight of our birth, that tunnel of torture before greeting earth. It plants all the hinders and snags at our fence, then punches at air as we overcome this. It is not our foe, though with vexation we rant and seethe and spit at our own cant. It's with arrows and slings which strengthens our might, making strong all our souls by way of the fight. No matter the losses or dullest of dims, no matter the onslaughts, it's here where we win. Forget must you not when all seem glum, that the stress of your life is there to be won. That's the first one. And the second one's called The Quo. Alchemize my pain to wisdom so that I may know the courses of my causes and pauses of a life that once was and is now known now. Award me the strength of giants that I may tackle the challenges and grudges of life's slings, arrows, and demonic bows. Amnesia it is that forgets all coming into this world of small, sharp scratches and batches of wills, worries, and woes. Arrest my directions and stir it sharp to more peaceful pastures with its love of silences and mindfulness of a soul which cries out for more. No more shall they blight me with their horrors and loudness and crassness of show. I wrote that one when I was slightly pissed off. So reading it back, it doesn't actually make sense.
It does.
I just wanted to get everything out. I was really pissed off at that. I remember that time I was a bit pissed off.
It always makes sense if you're sort of really pissed off and you write something and read it
I
out.
suppose like the songs, isn't it? That's why they call them the blues.
You actually have a song like kind of
Yeah, it was.
poetry.
The cadence was kind of like you were
Yeah.
slightly pissed off. It's well read.
It's like pissed off. Exactly. Thank you,
You
guys.
do rhyme really well. You do very good rhymes.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah. Are you going to come back in the second half, or you got any more for us now, Heather? Or
Yeah, I'll come back in the second half. I found a
Okay.
lovely poem by Maya Angelou. I'll read in the second half.
oh, great! I love her. Yeah, she's good.
Mhm.
Okay. Sunaina, good evening. Can you hear us? Okay.
Absolutely, and I've been hearing all the poems quite okay.
Excellent. I'm so glad you could join us, and you've got that beautiful background again. That lovely
You
background.
remember, how interesting. Thank you. Yes.
Mm.
I
Okay.
have, yes.
Can I tell them about your books? Can I tell everyone about your book?
It's come by Bottle Cap Press. It's a chapbook about nature, and I'm going to read 2 poems from there. I don't have a physical copy with me yet. It's in the mail, hopefully soon. But and I'll share the link in the chat. But these poems are very special, and I'm very happy to share this with all of you. And I'm so happy that you remembered me. It gave me an ego boost.
Unforgettable.
This poem is titled, "Please don't walk on the grass. Lie down and stretch out. Remove your footwear. Let the glistening grass tickle your soul. Caress the glowing clouds. Lay your obligations gently on the plaid blanket. Let them rest with you. Toss your burdens in the stream. Watch them sink. Stay there till the butterflies catch you. The second poem, thank you. The second poem is titled, "Please don't pluck the flowers. Allow life to sway in golden light. Enter your center. Indulge hope deeply with fragrant residue of ball of colors beneath leafy trees. Each petal a delicate verse." This is the last poem that I have for you, which is titled, "Please stay on the trail. It's okay to take refuge. Let your height guide you. Beneath the arch of ancient oaks, twirl with shadows to rustling greens as the blue vault opens. Wander your way to you." Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm loving the joy I'm seeing on all your faces. Thank you so much.
Lovely. Thank you, Sunaria. The book is called "Please Go to the Park."
Yes.
It's $10, and Peter can send you the link. It's got some wonderful reviews of it. It seems to be very based on nature and spaces, and just the joy of nature and the grass, and he kind of worships it really, which we should do. Yeah. So it's some of the comments here is as an author, James Wyman, author of New England Life and Light, says Sunania's poetry sings of the joy found by the human spirit amidst the tranquil beauty of a natural world. I think they do, judging by the ones we've heard just now. So there's some lovely comments, and Peter can send you the link. It's $10 plus postage, but it's a chapbook, so it shouldn't be. It's not like sending a great big tome across the Atlantic. It's quite like, I think, hopefully, so it shouldn't be that much. Okay, Peter, are you ready to go?
Yep, I'm going to read a couple of poems by Kevin Crossley Holland, both set in East Anglia. Generations of Air. I was the bellows boy, and in corners decorated with curious tide marks, or up against grey walls frosted with salts, I pumped, and the monsters with 20 throats or 40 throats shuddered and wheezed. Then the old sorcerer showed them his palms and soles. They hooted and began to sing. The last words he said to me, pulling out from under the bedclothes, not a green note for me and a brown note for my sister, as was customary, but his own right hand, mottled and weedy, which he inspected and arpeggioed across the scarlet. That noble beast at Creek, feed him sometimes. But in these frantic days, a mere 10 years before the millennium, most of the menagerie is under lock and key. The keepers no longer trust the visitors, who carry crowbars in their handbags and snaffle the plate, and either cannot see or cannot tolerate the beautiful. And then, despite the mighty efforts of Mrs. Carwithin and that chronicle of practice culminating on the day of the coronation, my reading's poor, and I'm a poor interpreter, sounding out the cadences of foreign tongue, I still won't resign myself to not learning. South Creek was open, though. I stood once more under the amused, expectant angels, marvelling at the bourdon, the cornopean, and the oboe d'amore, and it seemed to me the old man taught me neither team spirit nor love of music. I honour my mother, I honour my father, but how to listen. Here, for instance, close to Creek, in the village where he died, beneath the raucous gulls fishing and flying on errands, white on pearl, I listened to the suck and drag of the creek returning to its source, and the source itself no more than tremor, the sense you are not listening to silence. Not only to listen, but to hear myself and come to read the signs. To man the machine, this is what I learned, grandfather, this and the virtues of discipline. Always to keep steady, to keep the beat with my left hand, to draw deep lungfuls, generations of air. And here at the tide's turning, you close your eyes and see the stillness of the mullet-nibbled arteries, samphire on the mudflats almost underwater, and on the salt marsh whiskers of couch grass twitching, waders roosting, sea lavender faded to ashes. In the dark or almost dark, shapes sit on a stave, muttering of plick-plack and greenshanks and zoes beds. A duck arrives in a flap, late for a small pond party. The small yards creak and groan and lazy rap, muffled water music. One sky streamer, pale and half frayed, still dreaming of colour. Water and earth are quite integral, all water slaying, one sombre aquarelle. From the beginning, and last year, this year, you can think of no year when you have not sat on this stub of a salt-eaten stanchion, dumbfounded by such tracts of marsh and sky. The void swirled round you and pressed against you. You found a mercy in small stones. This year, next year, you cannot think of not returning, not to perch in the blue hour on this blunt jetty, not to wait as of right for the iron hour and the turning of the tide. You cross the shilling and the shallows and, stepping onto the marsh, enter a wilderness. Quick wind works around you. You are engulfed in a wave of blue flames. No line that is not clear-cut and severe, nothing baroque or bogus. The voices of young children rehearsing on the stave are lifted from another time. This is battleground. Dark tide fills the winking pulks, floods the mud canyons. This flux, this anchorage. Here you watch, you write, you tell the tides. You walk clean into the possible.
My goodness, Peter, did that well with all that alliteration and all them S's. I've been spluttering all over the place.
He did read it very well.
Thank you.
He did. He did.
Thank you.
Is he an American? Is he American or British?
No, he's English.
He's English, is he?
And
All right.
from East Anglia, Norfolk or Suffolk, somewhere.
Well, it sounded like Suffolk, sounded like,
Yes.
Snake Maltings or somewhere, didn't it?
Yeah, the samphire and stuff.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
Beautiful.
But well, he loves the word creek, and he's used it in both poems. So I just thought he was kind of very.
Yes, one of the creeks was where the church was, and the other creeks were the water.
Yeah, well, you read it really well.
No, thank you.
Read it well.
Thank you.
I'm going to be a bit political tonight, because there's been a lot going on in this country lately, and I just thought I need to be political. The first poem's by Brian Bilston, and it's called Refugees. It's a very clever poem. They have no need of our help, so do not tell me these haggard faces could belong to you or me, should life have dealt a different hand. We need to see them for who they really are, chancers and scroungers, layabouts and loungers, with bombs up their sleeves, cutthroats and thieves. They are not welcome here. We should make them go back to where they come from. They cannot share our food, share our homes, share our country. Instead, let us build a wall to keep them out. It is not okay to say, these are people just like us. The place should only belong to those who are born there. Don't be so stupid to think that the world can be looked at another way. The world can be looked at another way. Don't be so stupid to think that a place should only belong to those who are born there. These are people just like us. It is not okay to say, build a wall and keep them out. Instead, let us share our countries, share our homes, share our food. They cannot go back to where they came from. We should make them welcome here. They are not cutthroats and thieves with bombs up their sleeves, layabouts and loungers, chancers and scroungers. We need to see them for who they really are. Should life have dealt a different hand, these haggard faces could belong to you or me. So do not tell me they have no need of our help. That's quite a powerful poem. I love it. I'm afraid that my nemesis, the Donald Trump, has been on a lot, so I'm going to read my Wall of Tears. I wrote this in 2018 when it was a late night news flash, and there was this story of, you saw this image of this child. She had a red anorak on, and it was at night time, and the border police were pulling her away from her mother. She just crossed over from Mexico, and they were separating her from her mother. And it reminded me of, Schindler's List, with a little Jewish child with a red berry. It's all monochrome. There's a little child with a red berry. It reminded me of that somehow. And I found it really moving. And it's estimated at the time that over 2,000 children were separated in June 2018. And they don't know how many would ever be returned or reunited. So it's called A Wall of Tears. Oh, say, did you see by that dawn's early light the child torn from her mother as they crossed in the night? Did you hail so proudly in the twilight's last gleaming the eyes of the child from which tears were streaming? Where are her bright stars after perilous flight, or those of her mother removed from her sight? Oh, see the broad stripes of every steel bar. You're condemned by the world from near and from far. Is this the land of the free, the home of the brave, that can treat a small child as less than a slave? Can this be the place where the free man can stand that puts children in prison and sees refugees banned? Why must they conquer, and whose cause is just when thousands of babies sleep in the dust? Those babes see no shore through the mists of the deep, huddled up close in a warehouse to sleep. No sense of freedom in his cold hand. No soft warm blanket, no comforting hand, no sense of freedom in his cold-hearted land, where they sing their proud anthem in voices of thunder, whilst thousands of families are just torn asunder. So hollow though the motto of "In God We Trust," look hard to see any home of the just. That's that one. And another one I wrote, which is kind of a post-colonial song, it's called Long Road. When the Romans left, all we had to deal with were the Saxons. When the Saxons left, all we had to deal with were the Vikings. When the Vikings left, all we had to deal with were the Normans. They did not leave. But we had to deal with their kings. When we had dealt with the kings, all we had to deal with were the lords. When we had to deal with the lords, when we had dealt with the lords, all we had to deal with were the factory owners. When the slave owners left you, all you had to deal with were the missionaries. When the missionaries left, all you had to deal with were the colonizers. They were the British. When the British left, all you had to deal with were your rulers. Oh, what a long, long road to trudge down. Right, that's it. Boom, boom. Break time. Cup of tea time.
That last poem, it was written from the point of view of who? Because when he said when the British left, so who is written from the point of view of?
The last poem was written from the point of view of it was written from the point of view that people are oppressed. Any rulers tend to oppress, and it takes a long, long, long time to actually stabilize it, especially when you come from a long line of, it took the working class a long time to establish decent wages here and stop children going down mines and stuff like that. And, and then it's written from the point of view of everything, with the slavery, and the same with slavery, that, the whole, I'm tracing the oppressions, and that some countries are still left with a legacy of all of that.
So was it was it written by a British poet?
That's me.
Oh, you wrote it. Oh,
yeah, both those poems.
I thought it was.
Oh, I see.
Both those are my
Okay.
poems. They're in my book.
Right, okay. Was it written by a British poet? Yeah, it was by me.
Yeah. I love that second poem, George, as well. It was really, really powerful,
Yeah.
Mm.
really emotive.
Oh, the one about the child, yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
very good. Yeah.
Because they were actually using warehouses to put them in, because they had nowhere available for these children. And
I've been hearing other news about that, actually. I mean, I'm no Trump lover at all, and I want Trump to win because I think America deserves him.
oh, heaven forbid. Heaven forbid.
World doesn't deserve him.
That's the only thing. Yeah, that's the only thing. I don't think Kamala Harris will be any different.
Well, I don't want Trump to win because Sunana's got to put up with him over there.
You know, I was very upset because my husband had to move quickly to the government organization that he's working in, and Trump was going to freeze all hiring. I couldn't celebrate my son's first birthday there. You know, it's so it was, but you know, a very spiritual person probably. He told me that, you know what, nature knows what is required for everyone. So just trust, and everything will be
Eventually, yeah.
Well, yeah, he
And
is
that-
slowly he is losing it on television every day. I see him. He's
Yes.
gradually getting more senile as the days go by.
Oh, really? Is he doing a Biden?
Oh, he's worse than Biden. I mean, Biden at least got some ethics and has got some. I mean, all Biden's got is like he's very tired, and I think I think he's not crazy like Trump.
It's got a character.
Yeah,
It's got a character. The Trump is just
Trump is
Yeah.
something else. He's
Yes.
it's just like
he's something. And as for his running mate, oh
Yeah.
my God, what he
Oh,
said
Jackie,
about
yeah.
what he said about I don't have any children. I was just too busy making history to have them. But there are so many women out there who are trying so desperately, like IVF, and they can't have children. And then you have this, was it JD Vance?
Yeah.
Talking so derogatively about these women who do. I mean, I didn't know that Kamala Harris didn't have children. I didn't know that. But what about the women who want children, but they can't?
Well, she's got two
for some
She's got two
reason?
stepchildren. She's her husband's had two children, so
I think
she's
he was
right
just talking
stepmother.
about the ones who biologically don't,
Yeah.
But
Apparently JD stands for Just Dire.
Or just die.
No, you're joking. Oh my God, just die. But oh no, that's heavy. Okay. This one is called. And I've heard of this before. So when I saw it in the newspaper, I thought, wait a minute, I've heard of that. So I thought, okay, let me Google it and print it off. Right. Still I Rise. You've probably heard this one. Maya Angelou. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still like dust I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard? 'Cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame I rise. Up from a past there's rooted in pain I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping and wide. Welling and swelling I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise.
Wow. You read that very well. Nobody does lascivity and pride as well as Maya Angelou. She's you could,
a lovely poem, isn't it?
yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing. It's amazing. It sums up such a lot, doesn't it?
You know, as I'm reading this, I think of the David Lammies of this one. Right there, my email. Okay,
This is another gravy poem.
Right.
This is a prose poem by Caroline Bird, and it's called Urban Myth. Do you remember the one about the bomber plane during World War II, riddled with bullets from enemy fire, and the plucky pilot who took 5 packs of Wrigley's peppermint gum from his pocket and told his crew to chew, 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 crew? So they chewed, ripping strip after strip from their foil sleeves to bung the bullet holes, plugging each perforation with a tooth-marked blob like a wax seal, wet and glistening, stamped with their personal crest. 6 lads on the plane, or 4 or 5, 7 strips per pack, so that's 35 pieces of gum. It'd take at least 3 minutes, or maybe it'd just take a minute. Their jaws would ache, and they'd be ridiculously minty. Smoke and fire out the window, planes spiralling out of the sky towards the ocean. I don't even know if that's how planes work, or if the gumming punctures keeps you airborne. I guess you can't have all that wind shrieking through it. Well, anyway, it's not a true story. If it were true, you'd have heard of it. Maybe I saw it in a cartoon. I like it because it's literally the only idea I'd have if asked to bung a bullet hole. We played our love like that for a while, chewing, then stoppering, a patch-up job cobbled in midair from whatever we had in our pockets. At the time, fighting fire with blobs of miscellaneous optimism, aiming only for temporary insulation, to stopper the sky whistling through us, stay airborne, unofficial and miraculous, cork each new wound with a wad of sweetness freshly printed from the panic in our mouths.
Panic in our mouths, wow.
Is that what Trump used? Chewed some gum and stuck it on his ear?
That could be what happened. That's maybe why you can't see the hole.
Yes.
It's
dark.
Panic in their
I
mouths.
wonder if it was a spearmint gum. Don't know. What sort of flavour?
This is an old one of mine that I've added an extra couple of verses to make it longer. I'm not sure I've made it any better. What do you think? Directions. Turn left as you exit the churchyard on a permissive footpath. The path soon becomes enclosed between barbed wire and railings, but offers good views across the valley to your right. On the left, behind the railings, the wood is carpeted with bluebells in spring. Traces of old fortifications may be seen in the woods. A line of old gun emplacements along the ridge provided anti-aircraft cover for a military airfield in the valley, where gravel pits were dug and later abandoned. At the end of the wood, aim diagonally left across the field toward a stile in the far corner, and carry on across rough ground, maintaining direction toward a line of trees and cross a stream, ignoring the kissing gate on your right. At a junction of paths, take the second left between 2 holly bushes. This soon enters a gully, which can become very muddy after rain. Keep ahead for 20 years, then climb the western slope of the gully, squinting to the setting sun, and run for your life.
Another one for us, Nick. We can squeeze another poem out of you.
That was my marriage.
I might do a love song poem.
This is Everything Everywhere All for You. The photon arrives at the very instant it departs to show us a single star 1 billion years ago. For the light itself, no time at all has passed. It conveys exactly the moment of its birth. The miracle is that we can catch it and stop it in its tracks with just one glance. 1 billion years is long enough for stars to die and give birth to succeeding generations. The night sky is a time machine with all the history of the universe revealed to us, and yet it draws a veil across the present.
Nice. Nice, Nick. Thank you. Shall we have a little bit of Peter? If you got any more, Peter?
I was going to read a couple of Thomas Hardy's.
Right.
First, Drummer Hodge. This is set in the Boer War. They throw in Drummer Hodge to rest uncoffined just as found. His landmark is a copied crest that breaks the veldt around, and foreign constellations west each night above his mound. Young Hodge the drummer never knew, fresh from his Wessex home, the meaning of the broad karoo, the bush, the dusty loam, and why uprose to nightly view strange stars amid the gloam. Yet portion of that unknown plain will Hodge forever be. His homely northern breast and brain grow to some southern tree, and strange-eyed constellations reign, his stars eternally. Right, that's a portion of that unknown plain will Hodge forever be. It's there will ever be a foreign field.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
And at August midnight, a shaded lamp and a waving blind and the beat of a clock from a distant floor. On this scene enter winged, horned and spined, a Longlegs, a moth and a Dumbledore, while mid my page there idly stands a sleepy fly that rubs its hands. Thus meet we five in this still place, at this point of time, at this point in space. My guests besmear my new penned line, or bang up the lamp and fall supine. God's humblest they, I muse, yet why? They know earth's secrets that know not I.
That's a beautiful poem, that second one. Yeah. It's very like John Clare kind of.
Yes, I mean, it's
that, isn't it?
Nature.
Very well observed about how flies rub their hands together.
Yes.
Well, they're not.
Yes, they are their hands.
Their hands, yeah.
Hands. And they start writing.
I've got a poem called Hands. I might read it later on. Right, I'm going to read a Clerihue, which is commonly called a limerick, but in fact it's a Clerihue. A rhino shagging a car now bears a graffiti scar. Isn't it sad that someone's so bad that they'd mar a graffiti star? Right, and then I've got this one, which is a little love sonnet. I should now tread lightly on my sorrow, for if I crush it, tears will escape to form a sad river where my heart will break and the pain will return with each tomorrow. If I visit memories too often, I will only ask a ghost to enter, to walk into my soul's very centre, where my hosts of hurt feelings could soften. I can never give all my heart again, so we'll carefully think of where I'll go. All the journeys I take will now be slow, to reach each station without any pain. Future destinations are hard to guess, but I won't be boarding the Transracial Express. And there we are. Anyone got any more? Or are we going to call it a day? I've got more. Oh, I'll read my little poem about life up here. This is Walking in Lonsdale. There, 1, 2, 3, 4. It's only 4 haikus linked together. Walking in Lonsdale. Daffodils are bright beacons lighting woodland walks in waves of sea ferns. Old trees celebrate their demise, cloaked in green moss. The river gushes. Just as cold rain falls, rays of sunlight pierce the clouds, and a blackbird sings. Rocks on the path are safe refuges from the mud on the uphill slope. Anyway, that's some haikus. Well, that's it, I think, isn't it? Really.
Yes, it's good
I
evening.
can do a very little one if you like.
Yes, please, Nick.
Your poem's about loss. All my poems are about loss. Like that moment when you walked in the room and I lost my heart. Or when you said you liked my poems and I lost all respect for your judgment, but loved you just the same.
Ooh, that's nice.
Backhanded compliment there, isn't it?
Yeah.
I hate your poems, you know. They're bloody crap.
Very wise, very astute of you, sir.
Mm.
Oh, Lemmy, I've disturbed my dog now.